Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the brilliant insights of Dr. Ivan Joseph to completely reframe how we actually build self-confidence. If you've ever felt like confidence is just this mysterious gift given only to a lucky few, well, get ready, because we are about to entirely change your perspective.
So let's kick this off with a question. What do you think a national championship soccer coach is really looking for in a brand new recruit? Is it breakaway speed, incredible field vision, or maybe, a practically magical left foot? When parents used to walk right up to Dr. Joseph and list off all these incredible physical attributes their kids had, you might actually be surprised by his reaction.
Because Coach Joseph reveals a massive paradigm shift here. Those perfect physical traits, they're literally the absolute last things he looks for. Why? Because the true MVP trait, the one thing that completely makes or breaks an athlete when the pressure is actually on, is unshakable self-confidence. Without it, even the absolute greatest physical skills become utterly useless the second a player faces any real adversity.
And that brings us to this crucial, incredibly empowering definition. Listen to this. Self-confidence is not some magical, innate emotion that you're either born with or you aren't. It's simply the belief in yourself to accomplish any task, no matter the odds, difficulty, or adversity. And honestly, the absolute best part of this whole concept, it's a highly trainable skill. It is literally just a mental muscle.
And since it's a trainable skill, you can go ahead and consider this explainer your literal training manual. We're going to quickly walk through 5 key exercises to build this muscle. Redefining confidence as the ultimate trainable skill, the power of repetition and relentless persistence, mastering your inner voice, building confidence in others, and finally, choosing how you see feedback. Let's get right into it.
Number 1, the ultimate trainable skill. We really have to stop viewing confidence as this magic button you can just press when an airplane is going down and someone yells, "Hey, who knows how to fly?" Right? Instead, we absolutely must start treating it exactly like a disciplined, daily physical practice.
Moving along to number 2, repetition and relentless persistence, or as I like to call it, the unglamorous grind. Let's look at how just doing something over and over again actually builds the absolute core foundation of this skill.
You've probably heard Malcolm Gladwell's famous 10,000-hour rule, right? Well, it perfectly illustrates that the absolute easiest way to build confidence is simply through relentless repetition. Guys, there is no magic trick here. You simply cannot be confident in a task if it's completely novel and brand new to you. You want to step into a high-pressure situation and be able to tell yourself, "Hey, I've done this 1,000 times."
To see what that grind actually looks like in practice, think about a Colombian goalie Dr. Joseph once recruited. At first, this guy had hands like stone. Literally, every time a ball was thrown to him, he dropped it. So what was the solution? Repetition. That goalie kicked and caught a ball against a wall 350 times a day, every single day, for 8 months. He came back with calloused hands, zero moisture left in his palms, and get this, he eventually went pro in Europe. Was it magic? No way, just relentless repetition.
But here's the catch. You can't just repeat. You actually have to persist. The biggest problem with repetition is how quickly most of us just bail after our very first taste of failure. Consider the number 12. J.K. Rowling survived 12 publisher rejections for Harry Potter. After 3 no's, most of us would be furious. After 6, we'd quit entirely. She succeeded by absolutely refusing to accept failure. Persistence really is just repetition in the face of adversity. Okay, drill number 3, mastering your inner voice, which is all about controlling that internal self-talk tape. We all have that negative tape playing on a loop in our heads, right? We all know that awful feeling, like trying on pants and immediately thinking we look flabby, or sitting in a meeting, just absolutely praying the boss doesn't call on us because we feel completely unqualified. What's truly fascinating here is how Muhammad Ali used his own wildly aggressive self-affirmation to basically drown out a world full of people telling him he couldn't do it. Think about it for a second. There are already more than enough people out there ready to tell you that you aren't good enough. Why on earth would you do their job for them by telling yourself the exact same thing? Your thoughts heavily influence your actions, so you absolutely have to control that narrative.
You don't necessarily have to shout it from the rooftops like Ollie, though. Dr. Joseph uses this powerful poem as his own quiet affirmation. See, he grew up in a tiny town and sometimes battled some serious imposter syndrome when he was put in charge of these massive collegiate athletics departments. So in quiet moments, literally just brushing his teeth, he'd repeat to himself, "I am the captain of my ship and the master of my fate." The big takeaway here, if you don't say it and genuinely believe it, absolutely no one else will.
Now, to help weather those inevitable storms of doubt, here's a highly actionable tool you can create right now. It's a literal brag sheet. Here's how you do it. When you're having a great day, write a letter to yourself, listing out your personal and professional wins. Dr. Joseph actually wrote one congratulating himself on getting his PhD under 40 and raising good kids. Then, when your confidence takes a hit, maybe from a terrible job interview or a really tough project, you pull this sheet out and read it to remind yourself exactly who you are.
All right, drill number 4, building confidence in others. This one is all about catching them doing good, and it pivots our focus outward. You know, as parents, managers, educators, or coaches, our default instinct is almost always to critique mistakes. We honestly think we're helping when we point out that someone bent their knee wrong or missed a deadline. But in reality, that hyper-focus on the negative totally crushes the other person's confidence. There was this fascinating Kansas State study on athletic teams that completely revolutionized this whole approach. When coaches showed athletes videotape of all their mistakes and critiqued them, the team's improvement was super marginal. But when they completely ignored the mistakes and only showed the team video of them executing plays perfectly, their improvement absolutely skyrocketed. That is a real game changer.
So to apply this to your own business, your team, or even your parenting, you've got to be intentional. Intentionally catch people when they're doing good. Say Johnny messes up a task. Ignore the mistake if you can. Instead, find Frida, who's doing it perfectly, and praise her loudly for the specific positive behaviors you want to reinforce. The result? Johnny isn't demoralized, Frida's confidence is totally built up, and Johnny now knows exactly what success looks like without ever being torn down.
And that brings us to number 5. Choose how you see feedback. The power of perception. This final drill highlights one of the most fascinating traits of highly confident people. They interpret the feedback they receive entirely the way they choose to.
Dr. Joseph actually proved this hilariously early in his own life. When he asked his future wife out, she effectively told her friends that hell would literally have to freeze over and she'd have to be the last person on earth before she'd ever date him. Ouch, right? Most people would take that as a hard, permanent rejection. But Dr. Joseph, employing his unshakable self-confidence, completely interpreted her feedback as, "So you're saying there's a chance?"
It's just like Dr. Joseph's son, who came off the ice feeling like he had a spectacularly great hockey game, despite his dad observing that he practically never touched the puck. Choosing your perception is vital. It creates this essential armor for your mindset. Look, the world is constantly going to throw negative feedback your way, but you alone hold the power to decide how that feedback actually affects your internal belief system. So as we wrap up this explainer and you head out to start training this mental muscle today, I really want to leave you with this one vital thought. Repetition, persistence, mastering your inner voice, all of it basically comes down to a single choice. The world is absolutely full of critics, but no one else is going to believe in you unless you step up and choose to believe in yourself first. So I've got to ask, what is the very first win you're going to put on your brag sheet today?